Okay, so we have our user component and we have the data available in props. In fact, if we look at our React tools here and we go to, let's see, we want to navigate. Let's see, where is it? So right here, our user component, and we look at our props in user, you can see we have all this data available to us. So let's start to create this UI. So I'm going to jump back into user.js. Now I'm going to bring in the spinner component because if the user hasn't been fetched yet, then I just want to show the spinner real quick. So let's import spinner from, we want to go, let's see, up one level to layout and then spinner. And let's also bring in prop types since we have a bunch of props that we need to add. We might as well add those real quick. So we'll say static prop types. So we have loading, which is a Boolean. Let's do PTB. We have user, which is an object. So PTOR. We have get user, which is a function, so PTFR, and I think that's it for now. That's the prop types. Now down here, before this return, let's just say if loading, if the loading prop is true, then let's return a spinner. So if I go back and I reload, you can see real quick we see a spinner as it's being fetched. So down here, this will be just the main content. I'm going to use a fragment, so I'm going to bring that in up here. So let's say fragment, and then let's wrap. Let's see, we'll wrap this in a fragment, and we'll just get rid of this name for now. So I want to have a back button, so we actually need to bring in link as well. From React router DOM, and we'll just put a link here that's going to go to, it's going to go to just our home page, our users, so slash, and we can also give this a class or classes. I'm going to use btn dash light, and we'll just say back to search. Okay, so now if we take a look, we have a back to search. And what's cool is if we search, oops, took a second there. So if we search and we go back, the users are still there in state, which they wouldn't be if we used just a regular A tag. All right, so we're going to have at the top, let's see, we're going to have, I want to have a check mark if the user is hireable. So if we look at the API response here of my profile, you'll see I have hireable as true, which actually is not true. I'm not hireable right now, but I guess I am in my profile. I should change that. But I want it to be check. I want to show a check if they're hireable and an X mark if they're not. So let's say hireable. And then I'm just going to put a space here. So we'll say hireable, and then we want a conditional. So I'm going to say if hireable, which we pulled out from the props.user. Then let's show, let's do an I tag. Actually, I don't think we can use Emmet here. So we'll do I class name equals FAS FA dash check, and then I have a class called text success, which will make it green. So we'll do that. Actually, yeah, I think we can just close it off like that. Else, then let's show a danger. Whoops, this should be, it shouldn't be there. Else, then let's show a different icon. That curly brace should actually be here. So we'll show a different icon. Let's make it text danger. So we'll make it red. And the actual icon name is going to be FA-times-circle. Okay, so let's save that. Let's see if that works. Okay, so we get hireable and we have a check. If we search for someone else, say this guy, hireable, he has an X. Okay, cool. So underneath that, we're going to create a card. So basically I have a card class, which is like a border and some padding, just like a Bootstrap card. So let's do a class of card. And we are actually going to use the grid classes here. So I'm going to do grid-2, which is just 2 columns. And I actually plan on turning this CSS file that we're using here. I'm going to turn it into a little framework in the future at some point. And then we're going to have a class of all-center, which will just center everything. And I want to put the avatar here. So I'm going to do an image. And the source is going to be avatar URL. And let's add a class name of round image. And then I'm also going to add a style. So double curly braces here with a width of 150 pixels. All right, so if we save that and take a look, we should see something like this. Okay, underneath that avatar, I'm going to have the name and the location. So right under the image, let's put in H1 and let's put in the name, and then let's have a paragraph and we'll say location and then the location value. So we'll take a look. There we go. Good. So next I want to do this column over here. And since we used grid 2 here, everything that is directly in it is a grid item. So this div, now I'm going to create another div. And this is going to be the bio. Now, the user might not have a bio, and I want to have a heading that says bio. So what I'm going to do is have a conditional here. I'll say, you know, if there's a bio, then let's put a fragment. And in the fragment, we'll have an H3, say bio, and then under that, we'll have a paragraph with the actual bio. Okay, so if we take a look, there we go, we get the bio. Underneath that, I'm going to have a link to the actual GitHub profiles. So let's go right underneath the conditional here, or the expression, and we're going to have an A tag that's going to go to HTML underscore URL. Let's give this some classes or class names. We'll do BTN, BTN dark, and I have a class called MY1, which is margin on the top and bottom. And we'll say visit GitHub profile. Okay, so there's our button. Let's see, next thing we want is we're going to have an unordered list with the username, the company, and the website, which are all they're not required, so we have to just check and make sure that they actually have that. So let's do a UL, say LI, and we'll say if there's login. Well, I don't think we need to do this for the login, but we might as well. It's fine. So we'll say fragment, and inside here I'm going to put a strong tag. Say username, and if you want to style this differently, like, you know, different columns and stuff like that, feel free to do that. I would suggest doing it after you complete the project. I'm not really a big advocate for you know, changing things while you're while you're learning, but afterwards, that I actually recommend doing stuff like that, changing things around. So that's the login or the username. Let's just copy this a couple more times, and we're going to have the company. So let's change both of those, change that to company. And we have the blog, which is basically the user's website, not vlog, blog. And for the title here, or the caption, I'm going to say website. Whoops, I don't know what happened there. Say website. All right, so we'll save that. Company is not defined. Let's see, did I not bring that in? Looks like I didn't. So let's bring in company from this .props.user. Okay. Why isn't that strong? It's not bold for some reason. Oh well, I mean, I think that's fine. It's fine. So let's move on to the second part. Now we're going to have another part under here that's going to have like the followers, the number of followers, the number of people they're following, the repos, the gists, and that stuff. So let's go under, I want to go under the last div, which is this right here, this card grid 2. We're going to go under that and create a div. Let's give it a class name of card, and I want everything to be text center. So I also have a class called text center, and these are going to be badges. We have badge classes just like Bootstrap does. So let's do badge, and let's do badge primary for a class, and we'll say followers, and let's set that to followers. And just want to see if that works. There we go. Shows the number of followers. Then I'm just going to copy this down. We want 4 of these. We're going to change the colors. This will be success. This will be danger. And this is easily swappable with Bootstrap as well. So this will be following. I don't know why I keep spelling following like that. So next is going to be the public repos, which is public underscore repos. And next is public gists. All right. Let's check it out. And there we go. So that looks pretty good. Let's see. So primary and danger are the same color. So I think what I'll do is this danger, I'll change that to light. Let's see how that looks. There we go. So that's the second part of the profile. Now, I also want to get the user's repositories, but that's going to be a different endpoint. So we're actually going to create another method for that. And the way we get it is with users slash and then the username slash repos. And you can see it gets all my repositories and puts them into an array, and it has just a ton of information on each one. So we basically just want to list out the names and just have like a link to the names, and it's going to be its own component. We're going to have a repos component and a repo item component for each one. All right, so we're going to start to work on that next.